Hello all, welcome to Geekbit. So in this video, we'll be taking a look on the operators in C++. That is the unary operator, the arithmetic operator, the logical operator, and the assignment operator. So operators are like they are used to perform some operations. Okay, like you want to do some addition, multiplication, division, and so on, or some other operations. So in that case you will require some operators. Let's start with our very first operator, that is our arithmetic operator. So what actually are these arithmetic operators? See, arithmetic operators are so simple, like plus, minus, divide, and multiply. Okay, so these are pretty simple. Like if you want to perform some calculation, that is like you want to do some multiplication stuff, so how will you go? So multiplication is equal to, let's say I want to do 5 into 2. So in that case the resultant is going to be 5 into 2, that is equal to 10. So it's pretty easy stuff. Okay, and similarly there goes on, like if you do the operations of, like you want to do plus operation, so how will you do? You will definitely be going like and add, like this is the variable name that I am taking here. So you will be definitely go like 5 plus 2, same for divide, multiply, and minus. But now here you will see that there is one more operator that seems like something this. It's look like some percentage, but actually this is the modulo operator. So what is modulo operator? This modulo operator is actually used to take out the remainder. Like you want to divide 5 by 2. In that case, since we know that in case of C++, or if we consider integer, so in case of integer this will return 2. It won't return 2.5 as we are storing it in integer. Okay, so it will eventually be returning 2. So we know that in this case 5 is not actually completely divisible by 2. Okay, this won't be completely dividing, that is there might be some decimal places left. So how would you calculate what is the remainder? So in that case what we do is that we just do modulo, that is 5 modulo 2. This will give our 1. Okay, like just like the normal division, 2 2s are 4 and then ultimately 1, so this will be our modulo. So I hope you are clear with the what are these modulos. Okay, so let's try and implementing this. Okay, so let's take our very first operation, that is addition. Okay, so let's consider addition. So int x is equal to 5 plus let's say I do 7. So if I print x, so you will see that I'll be getting 12. Okay, so it's right. What if I multiply these two? Okay, so I'm getting 30. What if I tend to divide these two? Okay, so I'm getting 0 because 5 is obviously less than 7. So if I do like this, that is 5 divided by 7. So I won't be getting anything actually. So it will eventually return a 0. Our next operation would be the modulo. So what if I divide 7 by 5? I am expecting the remainder to be obviously 2. Okay, so we just got the remainder 2. And if you really want to see this, then you can go like 7, 5 divide 7, so it will divide it 1, and we will eventually be getting this as remainder. Okay, and at last let us see our subtraction operator, that is it. So we will be getting 2. Okay, so our very next operator is the unary operator. So what are these unary operators? See, you might be saying that what is this plus plus? We just know what is plus. Okay, when what is this minus minus? We only know minus. So is it like double subtraction? Obviously not. See, it's like these are actually used to increment or decrement the value. Okay, so this is our increment operator. This is actually used for incrementing. So what does this mean? Like if I have some number, let's say I have 8, then I do plus plus. So what is the increment of this? See, increment of this would be obviously 9. And similarly, what if I do 8 minus minus? This means that my decrement would be 7. But one thing to keep in mind here is that if you are using it like this and it this, then it is having a very slight difference that actually creates a lot of difference while you are coding. That is, this means the pre-increment and this means the post-increment. That means when you are pre-incrementing, then your value is actually incremented at the moment. Okay, so like I am having some line, let's say int x is equal to 8 plus plus, sorry, int x is equal to plus plus 8. This would mean that x is assigned a value 9. Okay, because this means when you are going from left to right, you are firstly incrementing and then going to the number. Okay, so it will be considered as increment of 8. Okay, increment, what is the increment of 8? This means 9. Okay, and then if we talk about the post increment means that you are firstly reading the value and then you are incrementing. Like if if this stuff is same, but the only thing is the position of this increment or decrement operator has been changed, like it's 8 plus plus. So in this case, when you go from left to right, you are firstly reading and then incrementing, so x will be assigned a value of 8. Okay, if I go like int y is equal to plus plus of let's say 9, and then I do cout y plus plus. So what will be this give? See, again going from left to right, what we will read first? We will here what we will read first is we will firstly increment the 9. Okay, so incrementing 9 would mean that y has been assigned a value of 10. Okay, but when you come to the next line means we are actually here printing the value of y, but how we are printing is firstly we are reading y, that is what was y here, y was 10. Okay, and then we are incrementing it, that is when you will come to the next line after this semicolon, this incremented value will be accessed. Okay, so if you will go like this, so here it would mean 11, but actually the output of this is going to be 10. Minus minus, that x minus minus or minus minus x, both work similarly to what we have just learned. That is same to the pre-increment and post-increment operators. Like if we take some examples, so int x is equal to minus minus of, let's say I do 7, then this would mean that we are firstly decrementing 7 and then we are actually uh, taking it here. Okay, so what we have decremented, we have decremented the value of 7, so now the value of 7 will be 6, so x will be assigned the value of 6. Okay, now similarly if you do like x plus plus, sorry, let's say I do x minus minus here, so what will I be getting? I will be getting firstly what is the value of x, x ki value is 6, and then we are decrementing it, and firstly we are reading the value and then we are decrementing the value. So what value is read first means a lot. Okay, okay, so let's jump on to our very next operator, that are our assignment operators. Assignment operators we have talked about this in a past video also. Like assignment operator means that we are assigning something. Okay, like if I when I do int x is equal to 5, this means we are assigning the value of 5 to x. Okay, so what is it? This is the actually assignment operator. Okay, but you can use this assignment operator with some computation also, that is with some arithmetic operations operators also. Like when you are doing, let's say I have already declared x is equal to 5. Okay, so x has been assigned a value of 5. Let's try this. X plus is equal to 6. What does that mean? That means x will be assigned a new value, that is x will that is 6 will be added to pre-existing value of x. This is equivalent to what? X is equal to x plus 6. Now don't say like what you used to do in your mathematics class, that is in your school classes, or actually in your maths, that you can say that x is equal to x plus 6 means that 0 is equal to 6. That is not the case, okay? So then that's not the thing here. We are actually assigning the x the value x plus 6, that is 5 plus 6. What was the previous value of x, and what is the new value assigned to it, okay? So it is a very short syntax to write the same thing, like x plus is equal to 6 means x will be assigned a new value, that is x plus 6. Similarly, if you do the same thing with you can do the same thing with minus, that is subtraction, multiplication, division, same for modulo also, and we have already talked about the addition operator. So let's try to perform the same. Let's say x is already assigned the value of 5, and we go like x minus is equal to let's say 2. So what does that mean? This means x is equal to x minus 2, that is equal to what? X is equal to 5 minus 2 is equal to 3, okay? So here what x will get is x will be assigned a new value of 3, okay? So let's try another operator for the same. Let's try it with some multiplication operator, okay? So x multiply is equal to 2. What does that mean? Considering the same value, that is 5. So what will we be getting? We will be actually, this will be similar to x multiply what? 2. This implies what we'll be talking about is, what will we will be taking into consideration is x is equal to 5 into 2, that is equal to 10. So what will be the value of x here? X will eventually become 10 here. Similarly, if we go, okay, similarly, if we go like x divide is equal to 2. So this means x is equal to x divided by 2, that is x is equal to 5 divided by 2, that is eventually 2, okay? So it will be getting value as 2. So the remaining one is x modulo is equal to 2. What does that mean? That would simply mean that x is equal to x mod 2, that is 5 mod 2, and the value would be 1, okay? So with this we'll be getting 1. So let's jump on to our very last operators as of now, that is our logical operators. So what are logical operators? See, logical operators are very much useful when you talk about the conditional cases generally. Okay, because as of now you will be eventually using them into the conditionals. So these are like and, or, and this is the not operator. Okay. So what does this mean? This means this is equivalent to what you have read in your 12th class. That was your AND gate. Okay. This was your OR, and this is your NOT. Let's talk about the AND operator first. This means that let's say if I have been defined some condition, that is condition C1, and I am in condition C2. Okay. So this will mean that this block will only be executed. Okay. So this means that this block will only be executed only and only if C1 is true and C2 is true. That means if both the condition, that is C1 and C2, becomes true, only then this block will be executed. So the truth table for the same is like 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So in this case, since both the conditions are not working, so no block will, so the block won't execute. Okay, in this case here only one condition is working. Okay, only one condition is true, so even then the block won't get execute. Okay, here the first condition is true, and the second condition is false, so eventually here no block will the block won't be working. Okay, but here you can see that both conditions are true, So in this case, for the AND, this will be working. Okay, let's come to our next operator, that is our OR operator. This is represented by this. Okay, so what is this operator? This is actually the OR operator. This means that when you are defining two conditions, let's say C1, and you are doing it OR with any other condition like C2. Okay, and this is the block that you want to execute. So this block will get executed even if a single condition is true. Okay, like I have been given these two conditions, even if any one condition is true. Okay, so the table for the same is like 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. So the OR for the same would be, see here, no condition is actually working. Okay, both are false, so we'll not be getting any output. Here a single condition is working, so we will be getting output. Even here a single condition is working, we will be getting output. Here both conditions are working, so we will be getting an output. Okay, so it requires just at least one should work. Okay, and talking about our last operator for today, that is our NOT operator. This is simply the inversion, basically inversion of 1 to 0 and 0 to 1. Like if your condition was, let's say, if I say if not of C1, then execute this. What does that mean? That means if C1, see, we already know that this block is only executed once this condition becomes true. Okay, and that means that this whole conditions part is should necessarily be true. Okay, I am talking this as a whole. Okay, so if this whole condition is true, only then this block will get executed. Okay, so what does that mean? That means if I want to execute this, so what should be it? Okay, let's try. Let's say initially our condition C1 was 1. So what would that result? What is the NOT of this? So its NOT would be 0. So what does that mean? That means that the NOT of C1 when C1 is 1. Okay, that is NOT of true is equal to false. So if our block is false, if this condition part is false, that means this block won't be executing. Okay, but if our condition was false, okay, like if our C1 was false, so in that case, what is the NOT of false? Our NOT of false is equal to true. Okay, so simply if our condition was false, then inverting that false, and that inversion will be done by this NOT operator. So inversion of false is eventually true, and after this whole conditions part, we'll get a final condition that is true. So since this whole part is true, our block will get executed. Our assignment operator was, let's say, so talking about the assignment operator. Okay, so how this assignment operator work? I already told you that if x is let's say we are defining some x is equal to 5. What does that mean? X has been assigned a value of 5. Okay, so if I simply print this, we all know that what is going to be the output. So output is simply 5. Okay, so what if I do some stuff? Let's say I perform what I taught you. Let's try the unary operators. Okay, let's try x plus plus. What does that mean? This would simply mean that x has been first read and then it has been incremented. Okay, so here x is solely just incremented. Okay, so how will this incrementation work? We know that this is post incrementation. Okay, so how does it work? This means that the value of x will be read first. That is, if we are going to consider the value of x, then eventually at the point the value of x that is considered is 5, and then it will be incremented to 6. So I can show you this, like if I do x plus plus. So what I said was that x will be read first and then x will be eventually incremented. Okay, so we are expecting an output that since the value of x that is read is 5, so we are expecting the output as 5. But if I say that I am doing a pre-increment, okay, so let's try the pre-increment of this. So what does that mean? This means that the value of x has firstly been incremented and then it has been accessed. Okay, so now I am expecting it to be that since it is incremented first, so the value becomes 6, and then it has been accessed and the accessed value is also going to be 6. So you can see here we just got 6, and same stuff you can perform on decrementation operator, basically while decrementing. Okay, so let's try our logical operators. Okay, so I said our very first logical operator, that is AND operator. Okay, so let's define some conditions like if that is x is equal to 5 comma y is equal to 7. Okay, so let's say if I say that if x is greater than 5 and x and y is greater than 7, let's say y is less than 7, less than equal to 7. Okay, let's try this. See, here the first condition we know that it is false, cause why? See, simply x is 5, so here we know that the first condition is actually false. And why is it false? Because we know that x is 5, but what we are trying is we are trying that x should be greater than 5. So we can't say that 5 is greater than 5. This would be false. Okay, and we are trying the AND operator, AND operation. Okay, so what does AND means? But before that, let's just test this one. Okay, so the next condition is y is less than equal to 7. So what does that mean? That y, the value of y is 7, and our condition is y should be less than or equal to 7. Okay, so we know that 7 is equal to 7. So our condition, our second condition would be actually working. So what is this case? This is the case that our first condition is false and second condition is true. Okay, so what do you expect? I am expecting that there will be no outputs. Okay, and why? Because this block won't get executed. Why? Because first condition is false and we are taking the AND operation. And what was the condition for AND operation? For AND operation, both the condition need to be true. Okay, so here, but here only one condition is true, so we won't be getting any output, but let's try it out. Okay, so you see that there is no output. Okay, but what if I do this? So what did I just do? I just did that x should be greater than or equal to 5. What does that mean? That means we have added an equal to operator also, so that means that 5 is equal to 5, so that is eventually true. So in this case, our both the conditions are true. So let's test it out. Okay, so you just saw that we got 1 and 1. The block get executed because why? Both the conditions were true. Okay, so I hope you are clear with the AND operator. So now let's jump on to the OR operator. So what is this OR operator? For OR operator, I just told you one thing, that for OR operator only what matters is at least one condition should be true. Okay, and how is it represented? This is represented by this. Okay, so at least one condition should be true. So but here, as we know that both the conditions are true, explanation I have already given, so I am expecting that this would eventually work. Okay, okay, so you just saw we just got the same output as 1 and 1. And what if I make some condition false? Let's say I say that y is equal to 7. This I have already told that what is it? This is actually the comparison. And comparison of what? That y should be equal to 70. That is value of y should be 70. Only then this condition will be working. Okay. So here this condition is actually false and this condition is true. Okay. So y, the value of y is 7. Although what I have done is I have done that y should be 70, only then this condition should be true. So 7 is not, we all know that 7 is equal to 7 is 7 is equal to 70, so we know that it is false. Okay, so what do you expect? I expect that my block will be eventually executing. And why? Because at least one condition is true. Okay, so even here you just see that our code got executed. But what if I make both the condition as false? Okay, So let's just add this. So now we know that the value of x is 5, but what we are trying to do is that x should be 50. That is the condition. But is 5 equal to 50? Obviously it's not. So it's false. So since both the conditions are false, hence we'll not be getting any kind of output, because the OR operator needs at least one condition to be true. So you just saw that there is no output because block won't be executing. Okay. So I hope that you are clear with the OR operator also. So now we will be talking about the NOT operator. So taking on, let's say if I declare an integer x is equal to 5. So I told you about that NOT operator is just like inversion. That is, if the condition is true, it will make it false and vice versa. So let's say if I say that if x is equal to 5, then in that case cout okay. Okay, what does that mean? That means that if the value of x is actually 5, then what you have to do is that you have to print okay. So if I see, then actually the value of x is 5. So I am expecting that my block will get executed. Okay, so I just saw that I got an output of okay. But what if I do the not of this condition? That is, x is equal to 5. What does that mean? That means this actually is like this condition is actually true. But what is this is a not. Okay, so what not is doing here is like not of true. So what not of true will return? Not of true will eventually return the false. Okay, so what I am expecting now is that x is equal to 5 is actually true, and what is it's not, it's actually false. Okay, so and since the condition block results false, so this block won't get executed. So I'm expecting that there is no output. Okay, so you just saw that we didn't got any output. So I hope you are having an idea of how this not operator work. And let's take one more example so that it will be more clear. So let's say what if let's say I say this, that if x not of x is equal to 50. So here we see that x is actually not 50. So this condition is false. Okay, because value of x is actually 5, whereas we here are checking whether it is 50 or not. Okay, so it will result in false, but we are seeing that we have also applied a not operator. So what is the not of false? It will eventually be true. Okay, so now what we are expecting is that since this condition is false and we are using it's not, so this whole condition block will eventually result in not a false, that is true. So our code block will get executed, so our expected output is okay. Okay, so next operator is our assignment operator. So what part was left in assignment operator? The only part that was left in assignment operator was just for the shorter calculation. That was x is equal, let's say I define some x is equal to 5, and if I do x plus equal to 5, what does that mean? This already I have told you that x is equal to x plus 5. Okay, so what will be the value? That is x is equal to 5 plus 5. Okay, so what will be the output? That means our x should be 10. So cout, what if I do cout, then I expect it to be 10. So I hope you are clear with this operator. Okay, so what if I do subtraction? If I am doing subtraction, I'm expecting it to be 0. Okay, cause why? X minus 5, that means 5 minus 5 eventually 0. And what if I do the multiplication? The multiplication will simply result in 25, cause x is equal to x multiplied 25. So 5 multiplied 25 is eventually 25. Okay, what if I do the divide of the same? For the division part also, what is 5 divided by 5? That is simply 1. Okay, and the last one is 5 modulo 5. So 5 actually completely divides 5. Okay, so there will not be any remainder left. So eventually we will be getting 0. Okay, so I hope you are pretty clear with these operators. So I hope you are having a pretty good idea of what these operators do. Okay, so thanks for watching.